So maybe it's a sign of the times, but with this economic situation going on, we lost a customer this morning. And no one likes losing customers. And if you've goofed up and knew that you had made a mistake, it makes it a bit easier to lose the customer. But when you've done everything right and the customer gets upset because you ask him to get paid and then decides to terminate you, those are frustrating situations. We have a service customer, their tanks have been on LA Fishguys before. Make a long story short, it's a husband and wife, tanks, a home and an office tank, and it's billed monthly. And over the course of the last 6 months, this will be the third time now that the payment that they made has supposedly gotten lost in the mail. I can certainly understand one check that doesn't get through, or a bill that doesn't get through, or a payment that doesn't get through the post office, but I can't see that the post office is that bad that one specific customer has 3 times now had troubles getting the check mailed to me. Maybe that's just BS. Maybe there is a real problem, but I went there to service the tank today, presented the bill for 2 months now to the office manager, who asked me what she should do, and I said, did you get my message from last week that I didn't get a check? Because I'm expecting to pick up that check this morning. I need to make a deposit this week. She did get the message, but no, she doesn't have the checkbook. She did supposedly talk to the doctor, and they were concerned why I wasn't getting these checks, because it was costing them $25 each time to put stop payments on the checks. I have no idea why the checks are not getting here. I've no idea at all. And I was going to say something to the office manager this morning, but I was a little upset, and I figured if we got into too much of a conversation that I would probably just tell her to go jump in a lake and that I was no longer interested in servicing the account. So I simply decided to keep my mouth shut for fear of saying something stupid. But after I left the office this morning, the urge became stronger, and I decided I might be able to gain some help from the wife account. So I did call the wife, and I explained to her that this bill was 2 months old, and that there seemed to be an issue with the checks never getting to home, and that I'd mentioned it to the office manager, of which she had previously told me I was not supposed to call the doctor direct, of which the wife said, "Oh no, if there's something he needs to know, you call him right away." She says, "I'll go talk to him for you, and I'll call you back." So about an hour and a half went by, the cell phone rang, and I picked it up and said, "This is Jim." And he went on to introduce himself. "This is the doctor, and I'm calling to tell you I'm terminating the service, and we're really tired of the manner of which these problems always seem to arise." And I thought, what? Oh, he must be trying to play a joke or something. And he says, "I'm just really frustrated in the fact that we can never seem to accommodate you when we pay you. We're an upstanding business, we always pay all our bills, and you're the only one who never seems to get the check when we mail it out to you." And he said, "And I didn't like the fact that you called my wife and complained about it to her." What? This isn't what I expected, and what do you mean about particular payments? Oh, you won't take a check in hand. What do you mean? I would be foolish not to take a check. Why would I not do that? And he went on rambling something else. Said, "Well, the wife wants to keep the account, but here at home, but I'm terminating it at the service." He says, "Buddy, you've really goofed up this time. You've really made a mess out of things." And I'm thinking, oh my God, what is wrong with this guy? I've never known him to lose his cool like this. And he went rambling on and says, "I just don't need these damn telephone calls getting my blood pressure all riled up. You can drop the corals off at the office and they'll give you a check." So I'm in total shock, and I'm trying to figure out what misinformation has your office manager fed you? Because this is totally wrong. I've been here religiously, on time, all the time, taking care of the tank. I've done my job. You can't seem to mail a check to me. And I'm trying to respond to some of his ramblings and such, and all of a sudden, the line goes dead. He hung up on me. A professional, a doctor, and he's obviously lost his cool, and he hung up on me. And so he did indicate that the wife did want me to continue to service the aquarium at home. But I gotta be real honest with you. Do you think I feel comfortable coming into your house after you've spoken to me in that manner? No, sorry. And sorry to the wife. I just would not feel comfortable going back into that house. But the real question is why did he lose his cool? I suspect the answer is business is getting a little tough for everybody. As I've mentioned before, I'm 50% down in the last year and a half. A lot of people are just now beginning to admit that they're down in similar amounts of business. This particular doctor indicated he was only down 15% a while back, but I just don't see that as being true. And why would he come unglued so easily? So anyhow, two things. One, losing an account is, especially these days, is not something that I look forward to. As I mentioned, I was ready to kind of just tell her to go jump in a lake this morning, but I really bit my tongue because one isn't in a position to afford to lose business. But at this point, I have been offered to maintain the wife's account at home, but again, I'm not really interested in getting involved in that again or being confronted by him again. As a matter of fact, he said something about you can drop the corals off at the office and pick up a check. Well, I don't think it's going to be that easy. First of all, if I go, that's tomorrow morning. Chances are they're not going to be prepared to give me a check. I'm going to have to sit there in the waiting room, wait for the doctor to take his time while he finishes with his one patient. And then they run around and try to find the bill and figure out the amount. And then, to me, worse yet is, you know, when they come out and go, here's your check. And it's like, yeah. Anyhow, so what I'm going to do is just drop off both sets of corals at the home, at the front door, tomorrow morning. I don't really like confrontation, and for me that's the easiest way to deal with it. Doesn't mean I get paid, and doesn't mean I get my money either. So we just have to kind of have faith that it'll be mailed to me. And so that might seem like a poor way of handling the situation, but the frustration on my part, not only the loss of a portion of my income, but at the same time is these businesses, you give them the benefit of the doubt that they're going to pay you. You give them what's referred to as terms. If you're going in weekly, maybe you only bill them once a month. Or if you're going in every other week or whatever. In this case, it was twice a month in the office and twice a month at home. So that's 4 services. That's worth probably a little over $400 a month right there. And I can already feel my pockets a little lighter. But again, the frustration is you give these people the benefit of the doubt. You give them an opportunity. You're basically financing them. There's no interest rate there at all. And the end result is they decide whether they want to pay you or not. I mean, the customer's always right to a certain degree, but in this particular situation, the problem, as I see it, is the fact that you simply can't get the check mailed to me here. And again, I really suspect that it's not the post office's problem. The hurtful part is some of the things that you say in parting. And this fellow really seemed to kind of relish in his spitefulness in the conversation about how I had really and really made a problem for myself. Like, I need you to point that out to me? So anyhow, it's part of doing business. You try to guard yourself as best as possible. Those of you that saw the small claims court episode a number of episodes back would understand that this is not the first time. And being a small business person, you tend to get screwed quite often with no real support behind you. As I mentioned in the small claims court episodes, if you go back and look at them, small claims court did not support me. And so there's really no one to stand up for you. You just kind of have to bite your tongue and walk away from it. So the point of the story is not to whine or cry tears on your shoulders, although I do feel a lot better, thank you very much. The point of the story is times are getting tough, and people tend to react in very bizarre or negative ways under certain situations such as that. And this doctor mentioned his blood pressure going up, and if the fact that one of my checks that had been mailed to me had not arrived to me for the third time, I just don't see that as being a real reason to blow your cork. Anyhow, I'll drop off those corals tomorrow at the home. There's little love notes in there for both parties, very short, very sweet. I thank the wife for 6 years worth of aquarium service. In the doctor's envelope was just a copy of the statement that said closing bill. Adios, I don't need the frustrations anymore. For me, I'm a lucky guy. Something else will come along. So with that in mind, let's get moving forward on the next service. And now hopefully they'll pay that 2-month-old $800 aquarium service bill.